Hi, my name is Nick Powers, and I'm the Curator of Collections at the Museum of the Shenandoah Valley.
And I'm Lauren Fleming. I'm the Registrar and Collections Manager.
This month is June, which means we're celebrating Pride. So we decided to pull out an object that will be accessioned fairly shortly into our Glen Burnie Queer Studies collection. A collection that looks at the everyday objects that our MSV benefactor, Julian Wood Glass Jr., and his partner, Arlie Taylor, kept, used, and surrounded themselves while they lived at Glen Burnie. And today we have pulled out a really amazing object from our collection. This is a Spanish bullfighter's costume, frequently referred to as the suit of lights because of the gold embroidery that we see throughout. We'll take a closer look at that in just a second. But this was probably collected by Julian Glass on one of his many international trips in the 1950s or 1960s. We're not going to be able to see it in the video today, but inside the vest is a tag from France. So we don't quite know where it came from, when exactly it was made, but both Julian and Italy were traveling throughout the world, including to Europe, during that period of the 1950s and the 1960s. As I mentioned, these costumes are referred to in Spanish as suits of light, and that name comes from either silver or gold embroidery, not always actually silver or gold, usually it's kind of a faux material, but no matter where the bullfighter would be standing in the ring, he would flash because of the reflective nature of these materials. And they are often embroidered in these very intricate patterns. We can see running up the sleeve here, we have floral patterns with vines, and then one of my favorite motifs that is throughout this piece, but especially on the arms and right around the cuffs for the wrist, in that gold metallic-like thread, we have butterflies with faux gemstones pointing out on the bottom of each part of the wings. The floral patterns that we saw on the sleeves and the arms are also repeated throughout the back, which Lauren is pointing out. So no matter where in the arena the bullfighter was standing, that sunlight would reflect and give him quite a stance. And if that weren't enough, we also have these shoulder pads on either side that are completely covered in that metallic thread, especially with these little raised florets with some of the same faux gemstones that we saw on the wrists. So he would have been shining in that daylight. We have evidence that Julian actually wore this costume at some point during his life. Number one, the costume is actually tailored to his relatively slim figure. But we are currently looking closely at a painting of Julian wearing the suit of lights costume, painted by his college friend and high society painter, David Payne. Payne painted kind of the high society of his day, including some of the houses in Newport, Rhode Island in the Gilded Age. But he also painted Julian in several different outfits, including this one, as well as posing him in his New York apartment. We still have a bit of research to do to really fully understand how Julian acquired this suit of lights and when. And in fact, the painting that you can see over Julian's left shoulder, right as you're looking at the painting itself, if we can figure out exactly when he acquired that painting, it might help us better date the entire set.
These two objects, combined with images and slides that Julian took on his trip to Spain sometime in the 1950s and 60s, help give us a narrative of what his life was like during that time and help us build out a more complete picture of his life both at Glen Burnie and abroad.